Kart Racing Pro is a game that was sent to me by a friend and viewer of the channel, Mr. M, I'll call him, just in case he doesn't want his name broadcast all over the internet. But he sent me this key quite a while ago, truth be told, and I just haven't had the opportunity to sit down and actually have a look at it. I meant to do it on Monday. I meant to do it before I went away on holiday. Things just get in the way. Anyway, PiBoSo, who's the publisher and developer of this game, this is the only game he has on Steam, by the way. But he also is the developer for GP Bikes, something which I regard as being the most realistic motorbike simulator that I've ever played, certainly. Basically, what PiBoSo has done is he's built a platform upon which various simulation experiences can be had. But this has the same limitations that GP Bikes has, and also has the same positives that GP Bikes has. There aren't many karting games, simulators. This is not a game, this is a simulator. Let's fire it up, and then I can start showing you what's going on here. One thing I can say, because I had a couple of laps earlier, one thing that this game does that the previous one didn't, is this one picks up the G29 and works perfectly straight off the bat. That is one definite positive for it. The game costs $29.99, so it's not cheap. It is not a cheap simulator, and it has no AI, although there is a ghost cam I noticed earlier. It's not bad graphically. I don't think it's bad at all. In-game, it's certainly not going to win awards for the graphics, but the sense of speed that it delivers is really quite impressive, and it's immediate as well. Now, everything is simulated on here. If you have a collision, you will break bits off the kart. As you're going around the track, you will wear down your tyres. The tyre wear will affect the grip and traction that's available on track. So in many ways, it's a full-on simulator. You can cover the exhaust in karting, and it gives you like a power boost, a higher speed or something along those lines. That's all in there. You can bind all of that to different keys and stuff. Now, one thing that this game doesn't have is a good menu. The menu in this is very dated, and it's the exact same menu layout and design that was in GP Bikes. I wasn't a fan of that. I'm not a fan of this either. We've got quite a few tracks in here, though. We've got 13 tracks, some of which are variants of the same one. So you've got long and short of Zuera, Nürburg Kart Bahn. I mean, that looks like a killer track. I haven't tried it, but I wouldn't mind having a bit of a go. I think might be going online here. Now, the thing with all of PiBoSo's games are that there's no AI, and I don't think there's ever going to be. Oh, that looks a bit weird. I'm not sure why this track looks like this, so I might quit out. This has actually got VR capability as well, so I might give this a little crack with VR. I imagine that would be quite interesting. The effect that I'm seeing here on this track looks like it's a wet track, and I kind of feel like that's what we were seeing on that last track, but because it's an indoor track, that shouldn't be like that. So that's a bit of a weird one as well. It takes a while to load up, I can tell you. So the menu is old, it's dated, it's not good. I'm not going to pretend that it is. So we have testing, which is basically practice. We have race, and we have challenge. Now, I think challenge, rather than what you might normally consider a challenge to be in a racing game, here is a scenario, see if you can win. That's not what this is. There's no AI vehicles in this whatsoever. I think a challenge is a direct one-to-one challenge between you and another real-life player online. Replays can be saved, and I'm not sure if this actually has any other languages. No, it doesn't. Unnamed profile, that's all fine. Doesn't really matter. I'm not that bothered. This is one of the areas where PiBoSo really is good. His ability, if you look down here, you can see my, that's my throttle. Oh, another thing, the clutch is the brake. So you got accelerator, brake does nothing, and clutch is the brake. I didn't realize that immediately, but as soon as I did, that feels so natural as a go-kart. It's unbelievably perfect. So that was nice. And I didn't have to set that up. I didn't have to think about that myself. That was already set up and profiled and ready to go. All I did was come up here, select my G29, which is the only device I have attached, and everything was set up perfectly. And it feels right. Everything about it feels absolutely correct. There is one thing, even the weight of the force feedback feels right, I've got to say. The only thing I disliked in my test earlier was that acceleration just seemed to be a bit laggy. That exact same problem exists in GP bikes. So I think it's a problem with PiBoSo's format system, because it's prevalent in both. So it must be an issue with PiBoSo's system. And if there is a way to turn it off, I mean, I know if you come here to input number 1, you can apply these smoothings, so you can smooth things out so that you, if you're one of these full-on accelerator, full-on brake type people, you can smooth it out so that it's supposedly, I mean, that's the input, but doing that won't give you that response. It'll smooth it out so it's a bit less full on, but none of that's turned on, so really it should be fine. You can see there's a wizard here. The fact is, I didn't need to do that because it was already set up perfectly. Although that's only registered 780 now. Let's just put 900 in, which is the correct thing. Input 2, you've got some like gestures that you can throw in. This is very much a person versus person online experience. There are some buttons here and a VR reset for VR. Graphics menu system, it's not, I mean, it really isn't much, is it, to look at. Set the refresh rate at 60 Hertz. It's capable of much, much faster. Anti-aliasing, we'll turn that on 16 times. Screen ratio, resolution, that's already set up okay. I'm going to leave that as is. Textures are on maximum. Anisotropic is on 16 times. Default is 8. I'll probably leave it on that. Dynamic shadows are on, reflections are on, shaders are on, draw distance is high. Model detail is high and 3D grass is turned on. That will give you a significant performance improvement, but I've got a GTX 1080 Ti, so I don't need to worry about that so much. Miscellaneous setup. You can auto bind, auto chat communication, so when you're racing you don't have to type anything in, you can just hit a button and stuff you say often will come up here. Units are in metric. You can set to UK, US, doesn't really matter. Date format, again, day, month, year, UK, US. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like much from the menu, but in reality, it does feel pretty damn good. Let's actually get on a track and you can see. Now, I haven't raced much recently, so I'm certainly not expecting to be fast. I definitely haven't raced real life in a go-kart for maybe once in the last 5 years, something like that. So I'm definitely not expecting to be good. But instantly, that's got the right weight feel to it. You can see my right foot. There's no latency there. I mean, it matches what I'm doing perfectly. I forgot that the clutch was the brake for a minute. Let's just turn that down a little bit more. Because it is quite loud. Okay. hopefully you're getting that same sense of speed that I am. Too much, too heavy. If you look at the wheels, you can see there's grass on them now. That affects my handling. Say racing on your own is not that much fun, but when you got somebody to race against, this game really feels different. Now that's obviously a ghost of my last lap, but you can imagine taking this online and racing against other players of equal or better skill, and you could really get a decent battle going on. Oh, did I damage the front? Nope, not that time. Hey, how you doing, Alan? This looks good. It is good, I've got to say. It feels really good. As far as simulation goes, this really does feel good. The feedback from the wheel is excellent. Really good weight, really communicates what's happening at the front. You can feel when the back is flipping out. Can't necessarily do anything about it, but you can feel it. And I was looking at some reviews earlier on today on Steam for this game. There aren't many, to be fair, about 60 odd, but there are people in there who actually race go-karts, you know, on a regular basis, and they're kind of split, I suppose. Some of them are saying, well, actually, one of the things somebody did say, which I do agree with, is that the acceleration isn't there. So if I brake and just put my foot flat down, that does not feel realistic. Every time I've been in a go-kart and you put your foot down, that is not the response you'd be expecting. Unless, of course, it's been limited so you don't kill yourself. But in competitive kart racing, I don't think they're that slow. Sure, there's a bit of a delay, but not like that. I think that's too much. See, if I get close enough, you can see how the cart in front is handling corners. The wheels are coming off the ground. When I was a young man, when I was a youngster, a kid, I used to fantasize about go-kart racing, and we were very poor when I was young, so it was never really an opportunity to do it, but I used to watch it, because back then stuff like this was on TV all the time. I used to watch it and I used to see how they corner real hard and real fast, and how the cart's back end sort of kicks out, and how they power through, and how the wheels lift off. This game, this simulator, in my opinion, captures that really well. Apologies, still getting over a cold. Completely forgot to brake there. Now if I actually try and smash this car up a little bit, if I get some speed going down here, now you can see that was quite an intense collision, and you'll notice that the front end of my kart is now missing, so there is a damage element to it. I wouldn't necessarily say it was full on, but it does affect the handling. Now you can drive into the pits, but as yet I haven't figured out how you actually drive into the pits. So this is our bay that we started in. Now the only way you can go into the pits from here is to press escape and then go click on go into the pits. But because both of my keyboards are busted, because of either VR or that last game I played, I can't do that. What you can do with the keyboard, oh god, I'm in this position now. With the keyboard, L or O allows you to push or pull the cart forward or backwards. So in a situation like this where I have crashed and I can't move, that's how you would get out of it, and it works really well. But because my keyboard isn't working, I can't do that right now. I don't think there's any way I can get my keyboard to work either, because I can't type anything in at all. None of my keyboards are working. So the only thing I can do from this position, because I can't now get out of this spot, there's no way to reverse it. Also, I believe that handle there is like a handbrake. I believe that's what it is. I didn't get a chance to show you that, but presumably that locks up the back wheels, whereas the brake here locks up the front wheels. So between the two, I mean, you can really control it and really get some decent control over the car. I'm going to kill the game, come back into it, and then see if I can find somebody online. The content that's available in a PiBoSo title is very, very limited. And like GP bikes, it would be the community behind it which populates and generates new content, new karts, new overalls, new designs and styles on those overalls, new audio. All PiBoSo really does is produce the track, the physics, and the platform upon which more mods can be introduced and added to it. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't gone looking to see if there's a lot of content that can be downloaded for the karting world. For me, not really being into karting at all, despite being so passionate about it as a child, I don't know that there's a huge amount of content available. Equally, I don't know that there isn't. If you were expecting DLCs to add to this, to download more karts or tracks or whatever, that's not going to be likely to be happening. The only place you're going to get new content from is the community itself. So if you're really into go-karting, and some people who have written reviews on Steam where they say that it actually genuinely helps them with their go-karting racing. So for them to say that really does say huge amounts about the physics that are involved in this. And just racing around that one track a little bit, I can tell you, I would have to agree. I think it really feels authentic, it really feels real. The only thing that is missing from this game is physically being thrown around in the kart. But unless you've got one of those very expensive hydraulic based car seat systems, then you're not going to get that experience from any game. So other than that, I think it's very good. That and the, I'd say, somewhat subdued acceleration. So yeah, I mean, this is a cracking game, but finding a race, I think, could be a bit tricky. Let's go world. Now you can see there's 3 tracks or 3 servers that are set up. That's not to say that there aren't other servers that are restricted, so you need to have a password in order to see them and gain access. But yeah, you can see that of these three, there is currently nobody online at all, and they've got a maximum limit. But yeah, I mean, this is the problem with not having AI and not being a massively sort of followed game, is finding someone to race against. That being said, there is a community, as there is for GP bikes. If you go on and speak to people in that community, 99 times out of 100, they are really helpful, they're really supportive, they really sort of work together as a team, and they produce some fantastic content. And I for one, am pretty confident that having a race on here with real people would be one hell of an experience, a really positive experience. And I'd love to come back and review that again with a race scenario, and maybe even talk to some of the other players and see how they feel about the whole racing experience. But definitely, I mean, the price of this game is so high, and I 100% can understand why that would put people off, with no AI and limited content, limited availability for people to race against. But if you're serious about go-kart racing and you want to have that realistic experience, this absolutely nails it. On a G29, I plugged it in, turned it on, switched it to G29, instantly feels really, really realistic. And you can't say better than that for a sim. You really cannot say better than that for a sim. Just feels really good. And I really do want to have a proper online kart race with some other people and just really get that experience down. I think it'd be fantastic. But there you go. That's all I can show you today. I mean, I recommend it because I'm a simulation fan, and this nails that element of it. I can fully understand why people wouldn't want to spend that amount of money without any guarantee of content, future updates, or even the ability to race against somebody. Totally get it. This is 100% a simulator. You need to be dedicated and interested in kart racing to invest your money in it. For that, I get it, but this is really good. If you want a kart simulator, this is a kart simulator. No question. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate you coming along and taking the time to do that. I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you who watched this video today. Special big thank you to our Patreons and supporters on Twitch. But everybody who comes and watches, you all count, you are all part of this, and I thank you so much. If you hit that like button, I will like you twice as much. Even more than that, perhaps. It is for you guys that I make these videos, so it matters to me a huge amount if you enjoy watching them, and if you don't, you need to tell me. So thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, until next time, goodbye for now.